So hi, welcome to Good Noise Podcast with Carmen McLean. We're going to ask you some questions today about their new single, Bloom. I'm going to start. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel the response to it, to the people you've shown it to so far, since at the time of recording it isn't out yet? I love that question so much.
Hmm.
Is that how has the response been?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Obviously it's a very personal song. The response has been generally really good. My family really like it. I've only shown like one or two of my friends. But yeah, the response has generally been very positive. I mean, obviously with like releasing music, I've been submitting it to blogs and things like that. Who can be very like brutally honest, which is fine and it's good and it's constructive. But yeah, I'm really excited. I think it's definitely more me than my first single. And yeah, generally people have been really nice and really supportive. So I'm so excited for the release now.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm really happy to hear that. It's great. So what was your writing process like for this single?
So it was kind of similar to my last single in the sense of it started with guitar. But it started kind of with the idea of kind of someone close to you dying, which is, sorry, it's not very cheery.
Okay.
But yeah, so that kind of idea had been something which I'd been toying around with for actually quite a few years now. And I hadn't really written about it until a few months ago. So yeah, it started with guitar and the melody just kind of came to me, and it almost like wrote itself in a way. I kind of, as most of my songs do, yeah, it kind of wrote itself. But it was a really therapeutic one to write. It was one of those songs where you feel something and then you write about it and you kind of, okay, I've done something with it, and it kind of allows you to process things and move on from it.
Okay. All right. So you did kind of touch on this a bit, but if you'd like to go more in depth, where was your headspace at while you were writing this then?
So it was written about a good friend of mine called Tony, who passed away about 4 years ago. And so it kind of explores the idea of like coming to terms with someone dying. I'm not like a religious person. I don't. The only comfort that I really have had with death is this idea of not reincarnation, but kind of every part of someone becomes something else. So if you're buried or cremated, as morbid as it sounds, parts of their body will come back in, like the flowers in the oceans, things like that. So that was the kind of idea that I was trying to kind of write with the song. Not so much, oh, everyone dies and it's really sad, but more you can find kind of beauty in things, in really difficult, horrible situations, such as death.
Oh, that's really comforting, almost. I like that. That's really cool. So what made you choose the name Bloom? Does it have a meaning?
Yeah, so bloom, kind of the way I interpret the word is like something new. It's like something blossoming, something, and I always think of a flower kind of blooming, which is obviously like a really beautiful part of nature. And so the theme of kind of nature runs through this song, through like the autumn leaves and things like that. And I kind of refer specifically to flowers and things like that. So bloom kind of symbolizes like a new kind of beginning. It's someone has passed away and now their body's part of the earth again, and it could be a flower blooming. So it kind of just symbolizes a kind of new hope or a new chapter to something.
All right.
Oh, that's very nice.
So what band or artist influences do you think you can hear on this song, if any?
So kind of, as I said before, this one's much more it's kind of slower than my first single. It's much more me. It's much more kind of vulnerable and open. I think artists who I think of when who I kind of listen to, Andy Schauf I hear a lot, particularly from his first album. That kind of dark, kind of moody tone, which I think you really hear, especially in the first kind of few minutes, 30 seconds of the song. And I think artists like Dodie, for example, she tends to write kind of quite kind of abstract ideas. So those two are the kind of people who I guess that song kind of reminds me of, or who I take inspiration from.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, I definitely hear Dodie, and it's so good, so good. So this question should be like super, super fast. I want you to describe this single in 3 words.
Moody, nostalgic, and hopeful.
Oh, that's very nice. I like
All right.
that. That's good.
So keeping on that same train, is there a certain feeling you want your listeners to have while listening through this single?
Yeah, I think most people have kind of at some point dealt with loss in their life, whether that's kind of like a dog dying or a relative dying. I hope that people kind of feel it resonates with them when they listen to the song, whether they've experienced loss or not, even though I think most people have. I hope that for someone who is kind of going through stages of grief, or has kind of gone through stages of grief, that this song can kind of bring a little bit of comfort, a little bit of kind of solace maybe, and almost be like a sigh, like a remembering what someone was, and able to kind of find a little bit of beauty in that remembering.
Okay, makes sense. So is this single leading up to anything, or is it just standalone? Like, is it leading up to an EP, album? Are you working on anything bigger?
Yeah, so I'm currently recording another few tracks, which I'm hoping will actually be my next kind of release. So I'm planning on releasing one more single after this, which will be part of my next EP, which I don't know when that will be, but yeah. My first single did so well, and I really enjoyed it. I really loved all the parts, from writing it, producing it, releasing it. It was so much fun. So I'm absolutely going to keep doing this, and I'm really excited to show you.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I'm so excited for you.
Excited for that.
Great.
So that is all the questions we have for you today. Is there anything you'd like to plug?
If you want to follow me on Instagram, I actually don't remember my Instagram name, but yeah, so maybe not Instagram, but if you want to like me on Facebook, yeah, Carmen McLean. My Twitter is Carmen M Music. If you want to, I mean, my Twitter is pretty boring, but yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for now with us. Always a blast having you on. This has been Carmen McLean, and we're the Good Noise Podcast.